first speaker is my dear friend, Dr. Gaurav Luthra, who's also the chairman of IRSI, who's been doing wonders over the last year, more so than before. And he's going to talk exactly 6 minutes, not a minute more, which is the different IOL formula, a complex topic which is going to be dealt in 6 minutes. On to you. Preferred practice guidelines.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Too much to say and too little time. So I'll try my best and I'll stop wherever the time runs out. Okay. So I'll try to be concise with this. And thank you so much for, first of all, inviting me. And it's great to be with friends again. And okay. Already some time wasted. So we were with the first generation formulas. I think the importance of having the right formula cannot be emphasized more. We started, of course, long way back with the first generation formulas, and then we all have heard these names and probably not used many of them. But the second generation formulas, the SRK and the SRK2 is what we used to use, and then the Olsen and the Holiday 1, and then we went on to the Holiday 2. It was a big privilege to have Holiday 2 and Holiday 1 formulas because they were very expensive. So the third generation formulas, including the Hoffer Q for the small eyes, the SRK-T, which became much better than the SRK-2 formulas, and especially for longer eyes, and then the Holiday 1. And then we went on with the Olsen C, which is a ray tracing formula, and then the Haigis and the Holiday 2. Now, this is where the game changed and our accuracy really improved. And then with the newer formulas, which we currently use, the Barrett's, which is the favorite of almost all of us, and then the Hill RBF, which is the artificial intelligence, and I was part of that formula to a small extent, and the Super Ladas, and then many more as well. So I think it's an open game. There's so much available, but this table will summarize a little bit about how we can choose. So in the middle is the normalized, and I'm sure most of us have seen this slide so many times, yet it always impresses me. So the normalized can actually do well with almost all the formulas. As you can see, the Vergence formulas on top, and then the ray tracing, and then the Barrett's 2 and Hill RBF, which we use today. But if you notice here, the Barrett's 2 and the Hill RBF at the bottom will work from the shortest eyes to the longest eyes. So these are not dependent on the interrelationship between the axial and the cornea and the AC depth. So they integrate all these things into that. So that's why they work for almost all eyes. Whereas the other formulas which are above will either be good. For example, the Hoffer Q still is amongst the best formulas for the shorter eyes, less than the 21 millimeters. And then the SRKT is still very good for the longer eyes, extremely long eyes. And then for the very, very long eyes, the extreme eyes, the Haigis is thought to work really well. But these formulas also require the Wong-Kok axial length adjustment, and then they become more reliable. So let's go on and see. The SRKT is what many people would be still using. And when you don't get measurements with your optical biometer, you still want to fall back on the SRKT formula. It's a theoretical formula, and it requires the axial length and the corneal power. And using that, it predicts the ELP. And it can be now used mostly for eyes which are very long eyes. If you don't have Barrett's with you, which is available free online, so there should be no reason. But SRKT is still good, as I said, when you are not able to get optical biometry readings for the axial length, and you would want to still use a formula for your immersion scans. And I still use it for those cases. The Hoffer Q, as I've just told you, relies on a personalized AC depth, axial length, and corneal curvatures. And this is extremely good for short eyes. So in pediatric cataracts and for eyes with smaller than 22 millimeters of axial length, I think Hoffer Q still has a place. The Holiday 2 was a very popular formula, is not used much now, but it could work from the shortest to the longer eyes. I will not delve because it required preoperative refraction data, which was optional, but required if you wanted accuracy, and also depended on white to white measurements, which are not accurate on most of the devices that we use. So had limited use today. The Olsen C carries a C constant, and again it is beyond the scope of my talk to go into the details, but it's a ray tracing formula, and has been good in some people's hands, did not work extremely well in my hands. I worked a lot with the Hill RBF with Dr. Warren Hill, giving data from India for setting up the Hill RBF 1. It's an artificial intelligence based formula, and it again has developed to the Hill RBF 3, which has come a long way now with a huge range of eyes that can be checked with it. It does not depend on the ELP. It's actually not even a formula. It just uses thousands of eyes data of various parameters which are taken into it. So, and using that, it kind of tells you whether your eye will have a within bounds outcome or not. So this is one of the best features of this formula, that if it is able to predict a good IL-PAR, it will do that, and it will say that it's in bounds. If it is not, because if it does not have enough eyes in the artificial intelligence database to say that this eye you can predict well, then it will just mark it as out of bounds. It will still give you a PAR, but it will mark out of bounds. So that means that if you use this, you are likely to have results which may be compromised. So you can be careful. And there are a lot of other new improvements happening with the Hill RBF. In 2018, we got the RBF2 with a much larger database and works from -5 diopters to the 40 diopters eyes, and almost 12,000 plus eyes, also with almost 1,000 eyes with short axial lengths. And now we've recently launched the Hill RBF3 as well. So going ahead, the Barrett's is what I think is the favorite of most people today, and people would like to know about it. Now, why Barrett's became so nice is because the posterior corneal surface was included in the Barrett's suite, and it includes basically 3 formulas, and then further variations of that: the Barrett's Universal 2, the Barrett's Toric, and the True K. Going on, I think it's a Vergence-based formula, and the minimum requirements are the AC depth and the axial length and the keratometry. And then it requires a lens factor and an A constant. And it can be used for almost all kinds of eyes, from the shortest to the normal to the long eyes. And what are on the left is those things which are necessary. On the right are those which are optional. And if you use the design factor and the AC depth and the white to white and lens thickness, you'll get much better outcomes. So wherever possible, these should be used, and all the optical biometers will give you all these things. So that makes it much better if you use it with optical biometry. Again, going on to details of design factor is not necessary here. Barrett's Toric has changed the game completely. So I think anybody who's doing Toric should be using the Barrett's Toric calculator, which is also part of most of the company nomograms. I like to use the Barrett's True K formula a lot for post laser vision correction eyes, and it is also integrated into most of the optical biometers. But for those who do not have access to this or the other formulas, the Ascaris calculator for post-refractive eyes is wonderful. A new thing which came up on the IOLMaster 700 was the Barrett's total keratometry formulas, which basically measure the posterior corneal curvature and use the actual curvature to use with these 2 formulas. The Barrett's TK Universal 2 and the Barrett's TK Toric. Again, beyond the scope to go into details, can the Barrett's be used with ultrasonic biometry? Not really, because it is not meant for that. But if you would like to use it, it is possible to do that using immersion biometry, using the ULIP database. And there is a small, if you read the bottom of this slide, there is an Excel sheet available on the ULIP website where you can actually create a nomogram for using the Barrett's Universal 2 with the immersion ultrasound. These are the variables required for the various formulas. If you see that the Barrett's obviously requires all these things, including the refraction. The Hill RBF requires all of them, but no refraction, and the older formulas require fewer things. So the more the number of variables, chances are that you're going to get better outcomes. There are other newer formulas like the Super Ladders, and this is again available on iolcalc.com, developed by Uday Devgan, and supposed to be a really interesting formula. And it again is constantly updating like the Hill RBF, because it takes data from all over the world and tries to bring about, it puts them into 3 dimensions. And then there is the Kane formula again, which is becoming very popular, and I will not go into the details. The Evo formula by my friend Van Hamburg. So there's lots of stuff happening. These are all top-end formulas now today, which are really looking like they're going to, they're competing with Barrett's, and some studies show them to be slightly better than Barrett's, others are not, and many of them are freely available on the internet. So this is how it settles down finally, as I showed you before, that these are the latest formulas which are, requiring little or no adjustment. I think, ma'am, do I have 1 minute more to finish? So the shorter eyes, we will axial length less than 21 millimeters. We will have either one of these situations, either post-refractive surgery or serous elevation of the retina, or microphthalmos or nanophthalmos. So we have to watch out for those. And there we can use the Hoffer Q and the Holiday 2 formulas, or one of the Barrett's and the Hill RBF formulas. So going on to the longer eyes, is my time up, or do I have 30 seconds more to go?
30 seconds, yeah.
Okay. So the Hill RBF. Yes.
What? Yes.
Because I heard only one buzz, so I'm not sure, and I don't see a timer, so I'm not aware. Anyway, I'll just finish in 2-3 slides.
Dr. Gaurav, your time is already up. I would request you to please sum it up in
okay, I'll go to my last slide.
Because we also have a
Sure. I'll go to the last slide. Thank you. So, the first buzz did not come, but I'll just come to the last slide, which is right here. Okay. So to summarize, the SRKT formula is recommended for the rather long eyes, whereas the Hoffer Q is recommended for the rather short eyes. The Holiday 1 and Hoffer Q formulas are equally good for eyes with axial length between 21 and 21.49 millimeters. The Holiday 1 formula seems to perform better than the Hoffer Q for eyes between 23.5 and 25.99. And the fourth generation formulas like the Hill RBF3, Barrett's, Haigis, or the Holiday 2 should provide the highest accuracy. I hope I was able to make a little bit of sense in the 6 minutes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me to speak, and I'll stop sharing.
Essentially, what I want to ask you is, if it is an eye with an extreme of axial length, what would be your second choice of formula? I believe Barrett's will be your first. What would be
Yes.
your second choice? Just a one word.
I use both Barrett's and Hill on all my printouts, and then I like to compare them. But short eye is Hoffer Q, long eye is SRK to fall back on.
You still do that? Okay.
SRKT, if it's an opaque media, sometimes you have those eyes with, but I typically don't have SRKT on my printouts. It's Barrett's and
Post RKI.
post RK. I would use the Ascaris calculator, ma'am, because I really trust the Ascaris calculator. But those who have IOLMaster 700, they might want to use the Barrett's TK and use that. So I think you would have more experience with that than me.
Yes, you could more. It's the main thing with the post RK is you need to get as close to the center when you're doing your measurements, and IOLMaster 700 has smaller rings, and or the Atlas topographer would be good, but going back to ACRS calculator also seems to do pretty well.
Yes, ma'am. I use the Pentacam for the EKR report, and using that, I try to see whether the central corneas, curvatures, and that becomes really useful for post RKIs if you want to feed in the right keratometry in the Ascaris calculator.
TrueNet.
Yeah. Okay. So one last thing. So much is said about total keratometry. Is it really critical in a normal eye?
Not at all. In fact, some of the new studies have shown that, including Dr. Barrett's, that for standard eyes, there may not be any advantage over using TK, but only for post-refractive eyes, there may be an advantage. Otherwise, the Barrett's nomogram works really well.
Thank you. Thank you, God.